CollegeSports.com presents the CCCAA Baseball Championships. Hello again and welcome to John Eulis Field on the campus of Fresno City College. Jeff Stoynoff, Mike Cepeda here with you for day 3 of the Baseball Championships. It all comes to a close here in the next several hours. Orange Coast College, the visiting team here in Game 6, taking on San Joaquin Delta. And at this time, let's bring in our guest commentator joining us today, Coach Len Money. And Coach, we're already underway here with Brennan Williams on the mound, the left-hander, working to Cody Bruder, in the first pitch in there for a strike. Orange Coast College comes in today having won their first 2 games, so they need only win 1 of 2 games here. We talk all weekend about the advantage of getting into the winner's bracket, but talk from a coaching perspective, just how big of an advantage is that to come in here only needing 1?
Well, obviously, the first thing you want to think about is your pitching depth. They've got to be in better shape by far than anybody else in the tournament, and now the only other team that matters is Delta. But Delta does supposedly have pretty good pitching depth, but it's such an advantage. There's no doubt about it.
Bruder a check swing, and he fouls it off, and scoreboard malfunction right now, so 2 strikes on Bruder, but we're going to have to guesstimate a little bit. I'm going to have to really be on my game here to keep track of the count. I don't have the advantage of the scoreboard telling me, and I need every advantage I can get. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Bruder down on strikes, and a strong start for Brennan Williams, and we'll give you the numbers here on Williams as L. Grant Davis steps in. And you talk about the depth, Coach, and Williams making his 23rd appearance, just his 2nd start, though, and that speaks to the improvisation necessary here in the double elimination format. The first pitch to Davis on the outside corner, called strike 1.
He looks like a strike thrower and a guy they probably use a lot in a lefty-lefty situation probably during the year. Maybe a setup guy, middle relief guy.
Comes in with a record of 2-1 in ERA, a fine one at 2.53 in 32 innings of work. Into the wind. Here's the 0-1, goes back to the fastball up high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Coach, we go back to the opening moments of our coverage here, and I think it's proven to be true throughout this entire weekend. And, you know, sometimes pitchers fall into the trap of showing batters too much respect, and Williams right now, early on at least, appears to be relying heavily on the fastball and going right after these hitters, and so far through 1 hitter with success.
Yeah, I think, you know, the tournament so far has been a lot of sloppy play. We've had a lot of base on balls, a lot of errors. He's just going right after him, and I think that's what you got to do. You know, we talk about a team.
Bouncing ball to Owens. He'll take it himself.
Obviously, if Delta wins this first game, then they got that mojo going. They got that momentum going. So, advantage Orange Coast. They only have to win 1. They have the pitching depth. But I'll tell you, Delta's got that mojo, you know, if they win the first one, that's for sure.
Yet you wonder in situations like this, where right now it's strongly advantage Orange Coast, knowing that they only need to win 1. They have the lift of David Hill coming out, who's been dealing with an ankle injury, but he's getting the call today. He asked for the ball, he's getting it, so that's an emotional lift. But if Delta can survive this early on, steal this game, does the advantage swing over noticeably to them then in Game 7?
Yeah, I totally agree, Jeff.
1 ball, no strikes, the count on Cody Nulf. Nulf, the hitting streak continues. I believe it's 28 games. I'm looking over toward Mike. 28 games in a row for Nulf, so needless to say, swinging the bat well. Fastball high, 2 balls, no strikes, the count on Nulf. He comes in batting .418. The average continues to climb. How often do you say that about a .418 average? 1 home run, 30 runs batted in. 74 hits leading the state. High chopper towards short. Thomas on the 2nd bounce, and he bobbles it, and everybody's safe. So Nulf at first, and, well, right on cue. A little sloppiness in the field there. Thomas elects to take that ball on the 2nd bounce, and I think that's maybe where the mistake was made right there. Made that play a lot tougher on himself.
I think he could have come and got that, and at least got the short hop. Exactly. You know,
so, sorry, Coach, please.
I was just going to say, it's you know, this kind of weather and this kind of tournament, I think it's an advantage to get out to a good start. So, especially for Delta today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, right now they're up against it with the, you know, as we talked about with David Hill, he of the ERA under 1 for much of the season. And on the hill coming off with the injury. So I think the longer Delta can even keep this scoreless, I think the advantage goes to them.
Yeah. We saw him early in the year. He beat us. He shut us out at Canyons, and I want to tell you, he was money.
Yeah.
So he's continued to be pretty awesome all year. So we'll just see if he can handle it. If the injury is not not an issue today, then it's going to be hard to beat him.
Chris Iriart delivered one of the memorable highlights of the championship weekend. A 2-run home run in Game 4 yesterday against these same Delta Mustangs. And that gave Orange Coast a lead in that game that they would never relinquish. Williams down in the count. Here's the pitch, the fastball just outside. Nolf at first, not a huge threat to go. 4 stolen bases in 5 attempts. Overall, Orange Coast, as a team with 40 stolen bases, that's a fairly low number, but with this kind of potency in the lineup, imagine Coach John Altobelli doesn't like to give away a lot of outs on the base paths.
They want this guy to hit.
Here's the pitch. Iriart takes the fastball high. 3 balls on Iriart. Tommy Bell waits on deck, so the assignment gets no easier for Brendan Williams. Bell been up around 400 all season.
Hitting 400 with the new bats is amazing. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. There was a reference to that yesterday about going to the more dead bats. Sky high to right center. Bartlett on the track, and he makes the catch. And, well, even in and out, you get a sense of the strength that Chris Iriart brings to the table. Opposite way, right in front of the 360 sign, but a long fly out ends the top of the first. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 man left. We're through half an inning. Orange Coast and San Joaquin Delta scoreless here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Hey, sports fans, remember you can follow SoCal College Sports on the go on your smartphone or tablet. Just download the Ustream app and then search SoCal College Sports. You can follow SoCal College Sports no matter what the sport, no matter where we are, no matter where you are. Broadcast today being brought to you by Bob McCloskey Insurance, the California Community College Athletic Association, Jostens, and Presto Sports, and of course a special thanks to the California Community College Baseball Coaches Association for their support for the broadcast as well. Bottom of the first inning, scoreless, San Joaquin Delta and Orange Coast College. Game 6 of the 3C2A Baseball Championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. So happy you've joined us. And David Hill getting the call here in Game 3 of the weekend. And Hill, a victim of one of the more odd injuries that you will hear about, as he works to Phil Clark and the fastball high and inside, 1 ball and no strikes. And the final practice of the season, Orange Coast had completed all of their drills, all of the practice, all of the motion, anywhere where you would think an injury could possibly happen. And David Hill was running off the field, if my memory is right. I'm looking over toward Mike Cepeda to make sure I'm getting this right, and tripped over a ball and turned his ankle. Who can figure it? Foul back to the screen, so Hill been trying to rehab the injury and get himself ready for this weekend. It was a question mark coming in, and this morning comes to the coaches after getting taped up and says, I want the ball. And the story we got from the coaches was that David Hill trotted out toward the team, all taped up and ready to go, and jogging toward him, cold strike 3, Clark down on strikes. And the team erupted, and it was an emotional moment. So we talk about the emotional factors in this game, and Orange Coast coming in sky high. And, of course, that raises the stakes for San Joaquin Delta early, and a good early sign for David Hill, and we'll go over his numbers shortly.
That breaking ball was nasty right there.
comes in with an ERA of 1.61, the record 10-1. First pitch swinging and fouling it away. It's Chris Bartlett. Bartlett moving over to left field, and we haven't finished our injury discussion today. Bartlett's in left, replaced in right field by Ryan Smith as San Joaquin Delta, as the news goes from bad to worse. The Mustangs will be without Wyatt Castro, at least in the first game. The breaking ball back to the screen. Castro hit on the elbow late in the game last night, and the elbow overnight swelled up, and the decision was made this morning that Castro could not go. Might appear as a pinch hitter, is a possibility for Game 7 if that becomes necessary, but right now not in the lineup. And Castro, I think to say a big bat in the middle of the lineup is a massive understatement. Line drive, base hit. Bartlett takes that pitch the opposite way, and the Mustangs have their first hit of the afternoon. That'll bring up Torres. Torres moving into the 3-hole, comes in batting .265, a home run, 27 runs batted in.
That was a great approach. Great approach right there.
Yeah, with the nasty stuff. It was a good piece of hitting.
Yeah.
Don't try to do too much, just take it the opposite way. Meanwhile, Thumb has cheated in on the grass at third base. Torres takes the breaking ball low. Set the defense for you for Orange Coast. Longtree in left, Bruder in center, Tommy Bell in right. The infield from third to first, Jake Thumb, Cody Nolf, Grant Davis, Chris Iriar to throw over. Bartlett back. Bartlett with 13 steals in 15 attempts. And where Orange Coast not overly aggressive on the base paths, certainly not the case for the Mustangs with 80 steals as a team coming in. High drive to center, playable for Bruder. Camped under it and has it for out number 2. Torres gave it a ride, but the 400-foot sign in center field would suggest that you're going to need to launch one to get it back there.
Yeah, but I thought it was a good hack, too. I think they have a good approach so far.
Yep. Yeah, they're getting their swings in early. A clean single from Bartlett, a drive from Torres. But right now, 2 down and a runner at first, and it'll bring up C.J. Owens. Owens comes in batting .319, a home run, 24 runs batted in. Bartlett away from first. Hill ready. Here's the pitch. There goes the runner. The throw down, and Bartlett's in there with a stolen base. The ball kicks away. Bartlett going to go for third. He's going to make it. So that'll go down as a stolen base and an error on Delaney on the throw. And now the go-ahead run 90 feet away with 2 down. Well, you see the advantage that speed brings to the table. Orange Coast a little more station to station, relying on the potency of the lineup, but Bartlett able to get himself to third base via the stolen base and throwing error. And now the Mustangs with a threat going here in the first.
Yeah, they're not going to wait around. They're going to make things happen. I think they're going to be aggressive, and that's going to be their style. And you know, hey.
Yeah, if you're going away from what you do at this point,
no.
you got to wonder. A maximum of 2 games left in the season, you may as well dance with who brung you. Breaking ball, meanwhile, a beauty in there for a strike. Hill working from the stretch. The fastball high. And, of course, for David Hill, this his first appearance in well over a week. Owens taking some time, now digs in. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball in the hole. Nolf tries to get something on the throw, and it skips by first base. I think Owens beat it anyway, and the Mustangs are on the board. So San Joaquin Delta draws first blood here in the bottom of the first. Hill's last appearance came back on May 16th against Southwestern. It was a 5-4 win, but Hill struggled, going 4 innings, allowing 7 hits and 4 runs, striking out just 3. And early on, the Mustangs touch him for a run here in the bottom of the first. Breaking ball in there for a strike. In fact, you really have to go all the way back to April 22nd in an 8-1 win over Golden West to find the last really dominating outing from David Hill. So he has been struggling of late. The Mustangs taking advantage early. That'll bring up Peruggi. Peruggi comes in batting .297, no home runs, 13 runs batted in. A swinging bunt up the first base line, and that one rolls foul. I talk about a strange turn of events, and the bouncing ball, ground ball with eyes, deep in the hole that Owens legs out for the hit to give the Mustangs the lead. You go back to the 9th inning in Game 5 yesterday, and it was a similar ball in the hole on the right side that Owens legged out that gave Delta the 9th inning lead in the victory over Sequoias.
Yeah, they can run 1 through 9, and remember the 90 feet, the throw into center field. So
yep.
he might not score on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a huge play right now early, and now they have Owens hung up. Run down between first and second, and the throw from Iriart is a little low, and Owens going to be safe at second. Well, that to me, and we don't have the scoreboard, but I think you got to put that down as the second error of the first inning here for the Pirates. And we made the case earlier that the Pirates, part of their success here, a big part of it, has been how solid they've been on defense in the first 2 games. No errors. But they've come out here a little shaky trying to close it out in Game 6. Yeah, exactly. So an opportunity now for Peruggi with Owens at second and 2 down. And David Hill right now has to find a way to shake it off, get out of this first inning. Give the Pirate Bats a chance to go back to work. They trail it early 1-0. Hill going to step off now as Peruggi asks for time.
This is also a confidence thing. They have some good hacks, get a couple runs. Now that, because they know about Hill, they know how good he is. So all of a sudden they go, hey, wait a minute. We face guys like this in our league all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. San Joaquin Delta comes from one of the stronger conferences in the north. So the similarity here between these two teams as Orange Coast plays in the Orange Empire Conference, one of the real stacked conferences in the south. So a high pitch, and Owens a late break for third, no throw. I don't want to put you on the spot here with the scoring, Coach, but I feel like that's probably a wild pitch.
That's what I have, absolutely.
It's good to know we're in agreement here. I gained some confidence from that.
Yeah.
So Owens all the way to third now, and now any old kind of a hit brings in a second run here in the first inning. Hill ready. Slow chopper to first. Iriart going to take it himself, and that'll end the inning. But the Mustangs get on the board. 1 run on 2 hits, 2 errors, and 1 man left. We're through 1. San Joaquin Delta leading 1-0 over Orange Coast on SoCalCollegeSports.com. It'll be Bell, Delaney, and Broussard for the Pirates here in the top of the second, trailing 1-0. Brendan Williams staked to an early lead, albeit a modest one, but he'll take it. First pitch to Bell, the fastball outside. Williams, again, continuing to stick with the fastball primarily. Not getting too tricky just yet. Here's the 1-0. Bouncer toward third. Torres up with it on the short hop. The throw over retires Bell.
Batting sixth, the catcher, number 17, Daniel Delaney.
That'll bring up Delaney. Delaney comes in batting .277. 2 home runs, 14 runs batted in. Well, for Williams, mission accomplished on the first time through the heart of the order.
You know, look for Delta, too, to also have a quick hook today all day. You know, they have really good pitching depth, and they might only want to get 4 or 5 out of him. So, and obviously, he's one of those things where if he's going good, fine, but as soon as something happens, get someone up.
Well, and this raises a point that we've been talking about, Mike and I, throughout the weekend, and that is both Valencia and Held went in that about 60 to 70 pitch range on Saturday. Line drive toward left, playable, and caught. That was Bartlett in front of the track. 2 down.
Batting seventh, the designated hitter,
Well, both
number 11,
Valencia
Justin Broussard.
and Sam Held both went about 60 to 70 pitches, and we speculated about what their availability might be. It's a day off in between, and that's a fairly long outing. But you wonder in an emergency situation, and that's a hard one to tell about where they might be with that kind of decision.
I think the lefty could pitch again. I think the starter from Friday could come back. And you know those kids will say yes if you ask them.
Yeah, absolutely. Broussard, the batter, and the fastball just inside. Broussard coming in batting .282. No home runs, 9 runs batted in. And, of course, anyone who's followed Orange Coast baseball for the last couple of years knows that Broussard played a lot of second base last year, has been battling some injuries. But he's been back in the lineup here, particularly in the second half, and has brought yet another bat, some experience and leadership to this lineup. Breaking ball in there for a strike for Williams, and it's no balls and 1 strike. It's Bartlett in left, Clark in center, Brian Smith in right. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Broussard fooled on that breaking ball.
That looked like it might have been a little bit of a change. Sort of turned it over a little. I haven't seen him throw that yet.
Yeah, it looked like we're a little bit off the center here, but I want to say that one broke a little bit away from Broussard. Torres at third, Jacob Thomas at short, Andrew Urbistando at second, C.J. Owens at first, and the battery Colin Thoreau behind the plate, and left-hander Brennan Williams on the mound. What a spot for Williams here, getting the call. Trying to keep his team season alive. Here's the 0-2, in on the hands and fouled off. Well, Williams up over 20 appearances, so no big surprise there. But if we have a Game 7, I think that's where it gets fun. No Vidro, no Jacob Hill, no David Hill for Orange Coast, so you're not sure who you're going to see there. And
I don't know.
Delta's run through a few pitchers. They're playing their 4th game here now in 3 days, and they do have a deep pitching staff. But that's where you're going to see some real improvisation, some real coaching genius. Fastball inside to Broussard, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, with the new format this year, they really didn't have to, depending if the regional went 3 games, but a lot of them didn't.
Yeah.
So, they even good pitching depth there, it really didn't matter.
Yeah.
Now it can matter.
Yeah, the decision to get rid of the super regionals and go to an all best of 3 made it easier for, guys like me who are somewhat new to this to follow the format. I enjoyed that. A little more what I'm used to.
Actually, the coaches like it. It's I think I like it. It's an extra weekend, but
Yep. Well, I have to imagine it makes it a little bit easier to set. You have the break in between the games as the games are played on weekends, and gives you a little more flexibility. And I can't imagine as a coach you don't like that.
The first round actually is still Friday and a potential doubleheader Saturday. The other 2 rounds, the sectionals or the regionals and the sectionals were
sky high to center.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Clark underneath it and has it. 3 up, 3 down for the Pirates in the top of the second. We're through 1.5. San Joaquin Delta trying to stay alive, and right now they lead it 1-0 over Orange Coast. It's the 3C 2A Baseball Championships on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Bottom of the second, it will be Jacob Thomas, Colin Thoreau, and Andrew Urbistando against David Hill. Well, the first question that comes to mind, at least from my broadcast partner, good buddy Mike Zapata, is what's the early feeling that you get watching David Hill? How does it look like he's dealing with the ankle injury?
Well, obviously he's a tough kid, but I see him favoring it a little. I have not seen him favor it on his landing foot. I think he's all right there, but I see him when he has to move too much, he's hobbling.
The 1-0 pitch fouled off, meanwhile, by Jacob Thomas. Well, you know, that's where you wonder about that kind of thing, is with an injury, there's the physical, and then there's the psychological as well. So it's possible that maybe it's holding up pretty well, but if he's worried about it or wondering about it, then that becomes an issue as well. Breaking ball of beauty.
Like anything else, if you have to favor it at all, it could affect his velocity, his psyche. You're right. I mean, it could be in his head a little, no doubt.
Jacob Thomas comes in, batting .255. No home runs, 22 runs batted in. Takes that one low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Thomas. If you're just joining us, Mustangs on the board early. A couple of hits, a couple of errors. And they push one across and lead it 1-0. Pop fly behind second. Davis backing up, and he'll make the catch for the first out here in the bottom of the second. That'll bring up Colin Thoreau. Well, Colin Thoreau was in the running, was the favorite all day for our Tough Man award in the 3-game day 2 here of the championships. Like catching back-to-back games. The game 4 and game 5 behind the plate. 45-minute break, but Thoreau out there for 18 innings behind the plate.
With quite a few balls in the dirt, too.
Yeah, he had a long afternoon. We thought we had it tough in the sun, and it wasn't easy here, but how about Thoreau? And right back this morning for more. 1 ball and no strikes to count. High drive to left. Longtree back on the track, looking up, and it's gone. Thoreau goes downtown, and the Mustangs lead it 2-0. Well, Coach, we wondered early in the weekend if it was possible to even take one out of here. That's the 3rd home run of the weekend. And it was a big shot, but I guess we could say now it's possible. And that looked to me like a breaking ball up in the zone.
No, I think it was a fastball
Was it
up.
a fastball? Okay.
Yeah, fastball up, and he got on top of it. Boy, that ball went out of here. Man.
Fastball in there for a strike to Urbistando.
That ball was hit.
Yeah, either way,
yeah.
Thoreau had a beat on it. And he turned on it and launched it. The breaking ball inside, and it catches a piece of Urbistando. So another base runner.
99, the right fielder, number 14.
San Joaquin Delta leading it 2-0. Ryan Smith coming to the plate. Well, you don't want to push the panic button here early at all if you're the Pirates, but a very slow start. They haven't been able to get much going offensively. No hits through the first 2 innings. And David Hill in a struggle. Fastball high. 1 ball and no strikes on Ryan Smith. For Thoreau, it was his 3rd home run of the season, 28th run batted in. Smith comes in batting .163. No home runs, 5 runs batted in. In the lineup with Wyatt Castro out with an injury. There goes the runner. Hit and run on, and Smith fouls it away.
I like that call. You know, I haven't seen a whole lot of that this weekend. But when you have team speed, you know, you can, even if it's a busted hit and run, you still have a legit chance.
Yeah, Urbistando with 4 steals on the season and pretty good speed top to bottom, it looks like, in this Delta lineup. Urbistando a lead away from first, held on by Iriart. The pitch to Smith, off speed, a little low and inside. So Smith pressed into action with the Castro injury. As the Mustangs shake up the lineup here in Game 6, but so far it's working. A throw over. Early 2-0 lead. And we can tell everybody there'll be a 30-minute break between game 6 and 7 if necessary. And early on, San Joaquin Delta doing everything they can to make it necessary. There goes the runner, the hit and run. Ground ball to short, no bobbles. Tries to go to first, not in time. Well, it's starting to unravel a little bit for the Pirates.
Yeah, Delta's building their confidence and playing very aggressive, and I think that's what you have to do in their situation. And maybe that's what they did all year. I'm not positive. I didn't get a chance to see them, but they come out of a very good league, a team that actually had 7 teams go to the playoffs this year. So,
wow,
that's a pretty strong league this year.
Yeah, these two teams very much mirror images of each other. Powerhouses in their respective regions, playing in power conferences and perennial contenders. That'll bring up Phil Clark. Breaking ball in there for a strike. You know, the situation drips with irony here for David Hill because, frankly, through the first couple of innings, seems like he's locating the breaking ball very well and getting ahead of some of the hitters.
Yeah, I just think that Delta's had really good approaches. I think they're seeing the ball well, and they're putting some good hacks on the ball.
First and second. Popped up left field. Longtree circles back under it and makes the catch. Longtree dealing with the wind there a little bit, I think. Not so much a sun issue. A circuitous route, but he makes the catch. So 2 down now in the bottom of the second. 2 men on. That'll bring up Chris Bartlett. He singled and scored back in the first. Three errors in the first 2 innings for the Pirates. The Mustangs have taken advantage, and they have an early 2-0 lead. Bartlett digs in from the left side. Here's the pitch, the fastball outside.
Come on, Chris, just like last night. Come on, buddy, keep it going.
He's flirting with danger with that fastball. He's missing up a lot with that.
Well, we've already seen it cost him one time. Colin Thoreau, a home run earlier in the inning. Bartlett takes the breaking ball, and again, the curveball over for a strike. Bartlett comes in batting .310. No home runs, 29 runs batted in. He has a runner in scoring position here. Runners at first and second with 2 down. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Connor Torres waits on deck. Hill a look at second, now comes home. Line drive, sinking in center. It's a base hit. Bruder on it quickly. They're going to wave Urbistando. The throw comes through. He's safe. Throw down to second, and now they have Bartlett hung up in a rundown. Meanwhile, Smith breaks from third. Now they have him in a rundown, and they'll finally put the tag on him. So the Pirates are out of the inning, but not before the Mustangs put 2 more on the board. 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, 1 man left. We're through 2. San Joaquin Delta on top of Orange Coast 3-0. It's the 3C 2A Baseball Championships on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Delta. The Mustangs all over the Pirates early. They lead it 3-0 as we head to the top of the third. It'll be Jake Thumb, Robert Longtree, and Cody Bruder here against Brennan Williams. And Williams staked to an early lead. The ball back to the screen. 2 balls now on Thumb. We continued the conversation between innings, and Hill right now struggling with the fastball. We'll talk more about that when he's back out on the mound for the bottom of the third. But from a pitching standpoint, how much more of it is it a struggle if you're struggling with the fastball as opposed to the breaking ball? Is it harder on a pitcher who maybe is more reliant on at least being able to get a fastball over the plate?
Well, it's unusual, and that's where you're going with it. It is unusual. Usually people struggle and they're breaking stuff over. They can still have good, in and out with their fastball. Well, if you can't go in and out with your fastball, you're in trouble. I mean, you got to be able to go in with your fastball to set up all your other pitches, and so that's something Hill's not doing.
Thumb batting .288 on the season, no home runs, 15 runs batted in. The pitch from Williams, and the breaking ball inside. So Thumb, a leadoff walk, and well, we like to make this point. I think it's true from the coaching standpoint. This is what causes the gray hairs, the loss of the hair from the coaching standpoint. You have a 3-0 lead, base is empty, Thumb at the plate, and you end up walking him, and it makes you scratch your head a little.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the line, hey, see how far they can hit it comes from. Holy Toledo, your team just puts up a 2 spot, and you walk the leadoff guy.